All right. Hello and good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us for the NAU Country Connection webinar today. We are going to be talking about how to financially self-service your policyholders. So there's lots of great items we're going to cover today. Let me begin by introducing myself. I am Hope Floberg. I am the Marketing Communications and Agency Services Coordinator at NAU Country Insurance Company. So welcome to our meeting today. Okay, we're going to begin with the agenda here. So to start off with, we're going to cover a variety of systems today. We're going to touch on Easywriter Pro. We're going to go over how to utilize the agency financial account viewer, which is going to give you really an all-encompassing look at your accounts or policyholders' account information in the system. We're also going to talk about how to access your statement of accounts, and for those of you with the right privileges, how to be able to pull down commission detail as well. We're going to talk about the outstanding balances report that we have available in our dashboard and our paperless billing enrollment report. We'll talk a lot about that too. What is it? How to access it? How to see what policyholders are signed up for paperless billing. Next, we'll head into the NAU Country mobile app. We're going to talk about how to find billing statements out there. We're also going to talk about financial data information that's out on the mobile device. What's great about mobile is everything you can see out there, our farmers can see as well. And so if your farmers or your policyholders have access to a farmer account and they have the NAU Country mobile device downloaded, really we're going to show you how to cross-reference, how to walk them through how to find this information as well. And last but not least, we'll end on the agent portal. We'll talk about how you can access 1099 information, which will be coming up here before you know it. Also, billing statement information, debt termination reports, agency billing summaries, how to run a statement of accounts out on Agent Portal, and then probably most importantly, how to navigate to forms that you may need to access, such as ACH direct deposit of indemnity for your policyholders, how to get signed up for ACH commission direct deposit for yourself, how to enroll in electronic commissions, and also where the loss credit waivers are located. So again, lots of really great stuff to cover today. So we're going to start off with Easywriter Pro. A lot of this, what we're going to cover today, has been in the system for quite some time. So this is really going to be a great refresher. As you can see here, I'm actually utilizing a little bit of the information from an older PowerPoint that I did just because it has such a great policy example. So as you can see on the screen, it says 2020. Everything's still relevant today, but we're going to cover it just because it's a great example. Okay, so starting off in our Easywriter Pro agent dashboard, we're going to just head up to the accounting menu option up at the top of the screen, which I have circled up here. And we're just going to open that up and we're going to go down to this view financial account data for the agency. So I'm going to just click on that. Now to start off with, if you know the account number for the person that you're looking up this information for, or perhaps you have a billing statement number, you can go ahead and do a search right on this screen. I have found from my experience, I do much better when I look up information on a policy level. So if that is the case, you have a policy number, an insured name, you can come right over here and click this select button on the side, and that will open up your financial policy search window. Now over here in this top section, we have our different search options. Here we can type in the policy number, we can utilize the insured name, their tax ID, etc. So I'm going to just type in Smith here. Once I do that, I'm going to come over and just click on this search button, and that's going to give me a listing of different criteria down at the bottom that match my search above. Once you find the correct individual that you're looking for, you can just come in here and either highlight the line and click OK, or you can double click on that as well. That takes you back to that account search window. Your policy number's already updated on here, so now you can just click OK, and that's going to bring us into the financial account viewer. When you come into the financial account viewer, one new item that I want to talk about with the group is the paperless enrollment history. So when you come in, right up at the top, you have this refresh button. Really, the only time you're going to need to utilize the refresh button is if you have this window up, you know something's changed since you've had the window up, and you need to refresh the data. You can also do a print from here. And then again, this paperless enrollment history. So first and foremost, this is only going to show if your entity or your policyholder has enrolled in paperless billing. Now, what does that mean? Some of you guys might not even know what our paperless billing enrollment is. So we came out with, gosh, it was last December, the ability to have our policyholders, if they choose to do so, they can enroll in paperless billing. All that means is instead of getting a mailed bill to them, instead they'll get an email notification letting them know that their billing statement is ready for them to be able to access out on the farmer portal, where they can go out and review their billing statement, and if they choose to do so, even pay online if they'd like to do so. Well, we want to make sure as an agent, you guys are able to know who has signed up for this and details around it in case you get questions. So again, if your policyholder has signed up for paperless billing enrollment, you'll have this option right up here. If you click on that, what it's going to do is it's going to give you history information. So this is going to show you, that they have enrolled, the date that they enrolled, the user login that actually enrolled in paperless billing, the signature that signed off on it, and any emails that they entered in that would receive the email notification when the billing statement was ready. Why would this come in handy? Well, let's just say somebody says, I signed up for this, but I never got the email. You can come in here, double check to make sure that the email is entered in correctly. You could come in and make sure that, they're still enrolled in the paperless billing, etc. This will also show you if somebody unenrolled, if they changed email addresses partway through. It really gives you an all-encompassing look at what your policyholder has been doing. So that is something new. In addition to that, we do have a report that you guys can run to be able to see which of your policyholders have signed up for paperless billing. Here, it's kind of like you have to be in the account to be able to see. The report's going to give you just an overall look of everybody who's in your agency, policyholders that are in your agency that have signed up. So I'm going to show you that after this next section here. All right, so moving on from the paperless billing enrollment, we're going to go back to our financial account viewer. I've switched people here, so that's why you'll notice this is what it looks like if they're not signed up for paperless billing enrollment. It won't have that option up at the top. So there is a lot to cover on these screens, so we're just going to kind of take it step by step. I'm going to explain some of the stuff which will probably seem very basic to you, but that's okay. So we'll start right up in this top left-hand corner. This is going to be your policyholder information. So a lot of what we're going to talk about today is entity versus policy. So everything in accounting really deals with an entity level. And a lot of times that's really kind of tied into like a tax ID. So you could obviously have Smith Farms that have multiple policies under the same account. So this window really shows things at an entity level. So that's why you're going to have an account number here. You'll notice down below that you might have multiple policies assigned to this individual. In addition to the account number, we also have, the name of the entity, their address, tax ID information, also phone number and email. So really just a great contact section there. The next section, this middle section, is filters. So what I like about this in accounting is really with being in the year 2023, I can still filter down to 2020 or 2021 if I needed to look back on something. So if you want to filter down this screen to something other than the current year, you can come up here and do the drop-down box and be able to put in the year that you're looking for. In addition to that, if you just wanted to look up something on a specific policy, you you could actually, instead of showing all policies, have the drop-down box to choose a specific policy. So again, this is just going to filter the data that you see below here. The next area is the status section. Again, a lot of this is basic, but starting off with account status at the top, this is either going to show as active or closed for their account. The Mpci in Hail ineligible is just going to display a yes if this individual is on an ineligible report that we get from the risk management agency. And that's just an indicator for us to see that. Next on the line here is the loss credit waiver. Here you can see this individual does not have a loss credit waiver that they've sent in, but if they did have one on file, this would display as yes. I am going to show you a little bit later on in the call today how to find those loss credit waiver forms if your insured needs one. But again, this is just an indicator if we have one on file or not. The other area is the ACH direct deposit. This will tell you which insureds are signed up for direct deposit of indemnity. In this situation, this individual is not, but if they were, it would say yes here. So again, just kind of gives you a nice overview of some of those details. Next on the screen, we have 3 tabs across the board here. So we have a summary of all of the financial information. We have a payments received tab, a disbursements tab, and a documents tab. As you go down on this screen, we touch on different lines of business. So first of all, this first section here is going to be Mpci and livestock premium information. So it's going to show you policies that fall into one of those 2 lines of business. It's also going to tell you what the line of business is. So it would either be Mpci or potentially livestock here. It's going to show you if those policies are still active in the system. And then it's really going to give you now, this is a policy look. It's going to give you detail on gross premium, subsidy, net premium, the fees. It'll even go into interest, loss recovery information, payments and loss credits, and balance due. Down here, we have a total section on the screen, and that is going to give you a total for all of the information on any of your Mpci or livestock policies. Coming down to the next section here, we also touch on Mpci and livestock, but this time it's the indemnity information. So again, we're going to give you the policy number, the line of business, whether the status is active, what the total indemnity was, and then if there were credits dispersed or checks issued out of the system. So again, if your insured or policyholder calls in, you have all this information at your fingertips to answer. And we're going to dig into further detail here in just a moment. Down at the bottom, hail and named peril premium, those are grouped together. So again, we have that premium information down here. Because hail and named peril do have different criteria in some areas, you can see here like we have a discount section on here to be able to see, maybe they had the bundle policy where they got a discount. And then again, we have the indemnity section for hail and named peril down at the bottom. Now, if you needed to know more detail on something on here, you could come up and let's just say I wanted to know more about this top policy and see how it's broken down by coverage. What I can do is come in and double click on this top line, and it's actually going to take me into the detail of that policy information. So you can see up at the top now I have summary and I have a detail. It's going to tell me what policy I'm looking at. So now in here, I can see down to the coverage level. You can see your county, crop, your plan information. You have your important dates in here. And then again, everything is still broken down by, now by coverage on your screen. Over on this side here, you do have your payments and loss credit information as well. So if you really wanted to drill in and let's just say, hey, the policyholder calls, maybe they just sent in their check and they want to make sure that we receive their check information. Right away, you could look here and say, well, yep, your balance due is 0, but you could even give them more detail. So again, if I come in here and double click on this top line, it's now going to take me into detailed payment information. So I can see that we did get a check. You have their check number. I can see what date it was deposited, when it was postmarked. addition to that, as you can see, I can see the total check amount on the screen. Now, note it's 21,000 plus here, right? So what it's doing is that is actually the amount of the check that came in. So that would cover probably both of our policies, because if you added up these totals, it's not 21,000, but that would cover both of our policies. So you see the total check amount, what the target policy it was applied to, which is the one that we have on our screen. This one was covering corn, and again, all of the information for this specific coverage. So again, really detailed information. To get out of here, you just click OK. And now we'll kind of go down here to this next section, which is the Mpci Livestock Indemnity section. Same thing. You can see here how that total indemnity broke out between these two different coverages in the counties. In addition to that, you can also see if there were credits applied, you would see that information here. In this situation, it looks like we issued out a check. Now, if they were wondering, when did that check come out? When did you send it my way? We can again come in here, click on the line, and find out more information. So we can see here the check, the date the check was authorized. We can see the check number, obviously policy and claim information, but you have all of that information at your fingertips. And again, what was the amount, etc. So again, just a really great place to be able to come in and to assist your insured with any questions that they may have. Now, if we had clicked on our hail policy on that summary screen, you would be looking at all of the hail detail in here. So really, again, broken down information for you to be able to view further. Now, this bottom section, I'm not going to go hugely in depth on, but it is good to note. Now, only agents who have access to see commission-based information will see this at the bottom. So if you're a large agency and only specific people can see commission-based stuff, some individuals may not even see this section at the bottom. But again, it's just really nice for those of you who do have the permission to be able to come in here and see the breakdown on that information as well. I'm going to head back to the summary tab. Again, we were in this policy looking at the detail, which in that case also pulled the indemnity information. If I then went into the second policy, excuse me for just a moment, I would just see information on premium since that does not have a loss. But you can click on any of these lines to be able to get to that further indemnity section. All right, so what we're going to do now is I want to head into the Payments Received tab. So we're going to click on Payments Received. In this window, it's basically going to show you anything that we have received that was sent in from your insured as a payment. So when you come in here, you can see we've received 2 different checks from them. We have their check numbers listed on here, the postmark date. We have the check amount, and then where it was assigned out to. So here we have that $21,436. This was our payment for the Mpci premiums on those 2 policies. This one here was for our hail information. So again, maybe somebody gets a late fee or something comes up, you're able to come out here and be able to explain, oh, it's because, it came in past a specific date. Or yes, we did receive that check and we got it on this date, just to be able to reassure them that that information has been sent in. So again, anything that we have received from an insured payment-wise will show up in the Payments Received tab. Next is the Disbursements tab. Now this is just the opposite. This is going to show any loss information that we have paid out to the insured. So when you come into this window, the first area to look at here is the type. This is going to show you if it was an Mpci loss or if it was dealing with a hail named peril loss or even perhaps a livestock loss. So the type is going to define that for you. We're going to show the check number of the check that we issued out to the insured. We're going to detail out what policy and claim it was for, the amount, and then you'll always be able to see the date on here as well for when it was authorized and sent out, and then when it has also cleared. So that information is out here. Now, if somebody wanted detail, maybe they haven't gotten the check yet, but they're curious on some type of detail, you can actually, again, come in here, double click on this top line or whatever line you want more information on, and you can actually pull up the voided check that we sent out. So you have all of the information on the screen for you. Once you're done looking at this information, you can just come up to the X in the top right-hand corner and cancel out of there. Next on the list is going to be our Documents tab. So let's click on Documents here. This is going to show any financial account document that we would send to your insured. So this could be billing statements, it could be our 1099 form and letter, it could also be even like a debt termination letter. So when you come in, the top section is going to be your billing statements. So on this section up here, we're going to show what the statement date was, what the amount due was, if there was a past amount due, and then of course we're going to detail out, what this was, excuse me. The next section down here is going to be where all those other miscellaneous financial letters are going to show. So this is going to be your 1099 information, your debt termination letters, all of those types of letters will display on the screen. Now, anytime you double click on any of these rows, it's going to pull up that letter or that statement too, so that you have it to look at and review. Once you're done on this Documents window, all you need to do, I mean, obviously you can go back to Summary, Payments Received, or Disbursements, but when you want to get out of the Financial Account Viewer, you'll just go up to the red X at the top of the screen. Now, before I do that, I do want to just mention, again, this is all encompassing, all financial data should be available to you on your policyholders within this window. So we'll go up, we'll exit out of there, and next we're going to head into the Statement of Accounts. So again, we're going to go back up to Accounting at the top of the screen. And this time we're going to choose Statement of Accounts. Now, one of the biggest questions that we probably get is, how can I see my commission information? And so again, this is very privilege based, depending on who has privileges. But in the agency Statement of Accounts, we do have this option, if you have the privilege, to be able to display commission information on your Statement of Accounts, in addition to lots of other options that you can select from. When you come in here as well, you'll choose your type if you want to show Mpci, livestock, hail, etc. And then of course your reinsurance year you would select as well. This will default as the current year. All right, so again, that display commission, if you want to add any of these options at the top, you just check the box. And then down at the bottom, this is the next area that we need to look at, and I am notorious for this. At this point in time, I check my boxes, I come up, I want to preview and print, they're all grayed out. It's because you have not selected your agency information yet. So down at the bottom, it's going to show all of the agencies related to you. So some of you, if you're a one-stop shop individual agency, it's just going to have your one agency line on here. If you're a master sub, you may see lots of agencies listed here. The one thing I like to point out, this little green chip here that shows under the agency code, that's just going to notate which agency is the master agency if you have a master sub relationship. You can select your agencies down below. You just check the boxes over to the side here. Once you do that, that is going to open up these fields up at the top for you to be able to preview, print, export the information, or even create create labels if you want to. So that is the agency Statement of Account information. And again, that will print out of the system. Really great and valuable info on there. I am going to note, you do have the ability to do the same function on the agent portal, but it does not have the ability to break down by commission. So this is the one place that you would need to do that if you want to see that detail. Once we're done in this window, we can just X out at the top. All right, the next area that I do want to touch on in the Easywriter Pro system is our outstanding balances. Now, in the Report Center, we have an outstanding balances report as well. I do always encourage people to utilize the dashboard so you don't have to do numerous clicks to get to a certain area. In Key Activities, we do have the outstanding balances section. You can just click on that. It will show you all of your insureds that have an outstanding balance. It also shows you termination date, what the due date was, if it's on a specific coverage, and then you do have the insured policy information in addition to their phone number if you needed to reach out to them. And that information can be saved as well. All right, the next area that I want to touch on is going back to the paperless billing enrollment. So now we're going to head up to the Report Center. And we're going to click on Report Center. When you come in here, I always do things what I feel like is just kind of the lazy way. In the search area, I would just type in paperless. And when you do that, the paperless billing enrollment report is going to display on here for you. If you double click on that, it's going to give you your report parameters. You have the ability to come in here again. If you have master subs and you're just looking for one specific agency, you can filter down. Otherwise, the key area here, and it's defaulted the way it should be, is if you want to see who of your policyholders is enrolled in paperless billing, you just make sure that this yes is selected. It is by default, and click OK. It's then going to give you a listing of all of your policyholders that have enrolled in paperless billing. It will also show you here too which emails are signed up, because they can have numerous people receive the email when a billing statement is available. It will show you here too when they signed up, just so you know, maybe they just missed a billing statement send and they're wondering why they didn't get it and they got it by mail. We can look here to see what date they actually signed up to do that. I will make sure to include, when we send out our recap, information on paperless billing enrollment and how you can help your insureds get signed up if that's something that they would be interested in doing. All right, okay, so I'm going to hop out of here and we're going to head over now to NAU Country Mobile. Again, as I mentioned before, the two areas we're really going to focus on is billing statements and financial data. When you come into NAU Country Mobile, for those of you who are unfamiliar with it, it really is the same username and login information that you would utilize for the agent portal or for Easywriter Pro. So making it super simple, you would come in here, enter in your criteria, and hit the login button. Now, as I mentioned before, all of this information that we're going to cover in here is available to your policyholders as well. And so I'm going to cross-reference what they're going to see. It really is almost exactly the same thing as we go through. All that they would need is a farmer account, and then they also, of course, need to have NAU Country Mobile, the app, downloaded on their either their iPad or their smartphone or something along those lines. So when you come in as an agent, the first thing that you're going to see is you're going to see a listing of your insureds. So this is all my insureds. We're going to kind of hone in here on Emma Stone. As you can see here, we have her phone number in case we need to contact her. I always like to kind of touch on some of the other elements of the mobile piece. If there's a red flag over here to the side, that does mean that on one of Emma's policies, she does have an open claim that's active and being worked on. The E here, this little green E, oh, I lost my mouse for a moment there. This little green E is going to show if the policy's mapped or not. And then this little red chip up here on Courtney Cox that you can see up at the top of the screen, that would be an indicator that one of Courtney's policies, it has an error through the risk management agency that we're working on to get resolved. So again, just some nice little indicators on the screen for you to, at a flash, know what's going on. So we're going to just tap on Emma Stone, and that's going to bring up Emma's policy information. So here's indicator number one. If your farmer utilizes the NAU Country mobile app, this is actually what they'll see when they first come in, is they're going to see all of their policy information. In addition to right here is going to have your agency information so that they can contact you if they need to with a question. So on Emma, the one thing I really want to make clear, and I did in the beginning too, but again with accounting, we look at some stuff from an entity level, like a high level based on tax ID, and we look at some information based on a policy. Right now, billing statements are at an entity level, so you can pay, your bill for all of your policies that are tied to you. So what that means here is we don't want to go and drill into a policy at this point in time because we want to see indemnity information based on our entity. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up to this top middle section here, and we're going to click on Actions. Now, if you're on an iPad, this is going to be on the right-hand side of the screen. You're just going to scroll down to the Actions section. So we'll click on that or tap on that. And then we have a whole bunch of stuff that's available to you at an entity level, but what we're going to focus on is billing statements. So I'm going to come in here to billing statements. The other one I do want to point out here is your account documents. When we were in Easywriter Pro and we were talking about that documents section that would show you, 1099 information or debt termination reports, that is also available out here too. It's just right below the billing statements. We're not going to go into that one, but I do want to point that out. So once we get to billing statements, we'll just tap right on that. It's going to show us all of the billing statements for our insured. So if, let's just say they called in, they had a question on something, we can come in here, tap on the statement that they're inquiring about, and we can pull up the billing statement on our screen. If it's just a question, we can obviously look at the billing statement and answer that right now. If it's something that they needed to look at, you can come up to this icon right in the right-hand side of your screen. This will allow you to print, share, or even email this billing statement out to the insured if need be. But either way, you have it available on your screen to reference. Once you're done looking at that, you can just click back up at the top of the screen on the left-hand side, and then back just one more time to get out of the billing statements. Now, we're going to take a moment to look at financial data based on a policy. And so because now we're going into a policy level, we're now going to go over up at the top section of your screen, we're going to click on Policies, which is on the left here. So let me click on that again on your iPad. That's going to be on the right panel, and it's going to be the first item up at the top that you would look under. Now that we can see our policies on the screen here, we would select which policy we're inquiring about. So I'm going to pick this 2020 policy, and I'm just going to tap on that. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with NAU Country Mobile, it really is a great place to be able to view tons of data. So to begin with, again, you have your agency information at the top. We're going to show all of the coverages for that policy, in addition to information on premium amounts, fees amounts, important dates, etc. If you wanted to know even more, drill down a little bit deeper, you could click on this corn coverage. It'll take you to a unit level. You can even go down to looking at a 10-year APH database on the mobile screen, which is great. And again, your insureds can see all of this stuff just as you can. So, but what we want to do is we want to get to our financial information for this policy. So again, up at the top section of the screen here, I'm going to click on Actions. This time, because there is a lot of information in here, you do have to scroll a little bit, but we want to go down to Financial Policy Data. I am just going to tap on that. And this is going to give me all of the information dealing with receivables and indemnity on this policy. So you can see here I have my coverage information broken down. It's going to tell me the bill date, the termination date, and the balance due. Down in the indemnity section, it's also going to show me if I have any indemnity information for any of the coverages above, and what is the balance, whether it's been paid out or it still needs to be paid to me. Now let's just kind of drill into this corn line here a little bit. This is excellent for answering any questions regarding premium for your insureds, premium, interest, whatever. So on the corn here, we're going to click on this little arrow over to the right-hand side. And again, underneath here in this transaction section, it's going to show us everything that has happened with this corn coverage to build up an amount due. So if you look here on May 28th, our amount due on corn was 0. There was nothing, there was no acres planted yet. Nothing was logged into the system at this point in time. However, on June 29th, you can see that we posted the amount of $3,824. And then you can see the amount type classification, which is the premium amount. So basically at this point in time, we can assume that they keyed in their acres into the system, and we now have a premium due on this coverage. Now, the next section here, same date, it looks like our admin fee came in as well. So we have a $30 admin fee added in that now takes this $3,824 up to $3,854. And again, we have the classification here to know that that was an admin fee. Now, if there were interest amount due, those would also be showed in here too. So they would be able to see, why do I have an additional $30 on my account? They could come in here and say, oh, that was the admin fee that was added on, or that was the interest amount. So again, it's completely broken down for them to be able to see it by type classification. Once you've looked at that information, you can go back to the financial data screen, and this time we're going to drill into the indemnity information. So again, I'm going to look at this corn information. I'm going to click on this little arrow on the right-hand side here, and I want to see now the transactions that happened on my claim. So I can see on July 8th that I had a claim amount in the amount of $359. I can see the claim number associated with that, and then I can see the next day on the 9th that it looks like that amount was paid out, making that balance zero. If I wanted to know date information, check number information, if I wanted to drill even deeper, I can click on this arrow tab to the side here and find out even more info. So again, anytime they're trying to figure out, when was my claim check paid, there's numerous areas in the system, but this is definitely one that they could refer to. All right, that is what we wanted to cover with NAU Country Mobile. Next, we are going to head into the agent portal. And so in the agent portal, again, a lot of really great stuff here to cover. We're going to just start out by entering into the agent portal screen, which is just your same username and login that you would utilize for Easywriter Pro. Now, there are so many different ways to access the same information in the agent portal, and I'm going to take kind of one of the paths of least resistance and not go over all of the areas. But I do want to make sure you guys are always aware of quick links over to the side here. Quick links can bring you directly to the report center. It can bring you directly to 1099 information, your conflict of interest information, all of that fun stuff. We're going to drill in a little bit deeper, but again, this is such a key area to utilize for quickly getting to different areas in the system. All right, so the first stuff that we're going to look at in the agent portal is we're going to drill in again to the billing and account document information. So we're going to start off by going up to the top of the screen, doing the My Farmers menu, and then choosing My Farmers again. When you come in, again, this is a listing of your insureds on the screen. You just pick your insured that has a question or that you're inquiring about. I'm going to choose Hope Floberg, and I'm going to head into Hope's basically kind of high-level entity screen. So here we're going to be able to see billing statement information, account documents, alter her preferences, and then we'll be able to see all of her policy information on here too. So this could be, you can see here, we could have numerous Mpci policies, our hail and name peril information would show on here as well. But we're going to do the billing statements today. So I'm just going to click on this big block on the screen. Again, all my billing statements for Hope Floberg are going to show on the screen for me. I just click on the one I want to look at. Now I'm in Chrome. If you're in a different browser, the billing statement may just open up on the screen for you. If you're in Chrome, it's always good to know that it actually shows up at the bottom of the screen where you can just click to open it, and it will show your billing statement on the screen for you. So you're able to answer any questions that's needed, or, again, you could, print it if you wanted to, or share it, or whatever. Now, once you're done with the billing statement, you'll notice that it did open a new tab for you at the top of the screen. So if you come up here and you exit out, you're still going to have the agent portal open. You're not closing out of the agent portal. Now, oops, I jumped ahead here. Now, once I'm done with my billing statements, I really want to make sure to draw your attention to the breadcrumbs at the top of the screen. Now, I could go back up and do My Farmers, pick my insured name, do all of that. But really, all I need to do is utilize my breadcrumbs and go back to my Hope Floberg entity screen, which brings me right back to this location. Now I'm going to head into account documents. So I'm going to click on the account documents. anything in here are the things that will show in here again are your debt termination reports, your 1099 information, really, again, anything that we send out to your insured that's based on financial information. So those will show in here. Same situation, you just come over to the document that you want to look at. You click on the link. Again, in Chrome, it opens up at the bottom. You just choose to open that, and it will come up on the screen for you. Now, this is the 1099 form, which is why I just have the block information. There was also a 1099 letter that I could have brought up as well if I had wanted to do so. Again, you can download it, you can print it, you can do whatever you need to do with that information. Again, it opened a tab at the top of the screen. I'm just going to exit out of that, and I'm back in the agent portal. All right, the next area that I want to touch on is the forms section, where some important forms that we're talking about today are located. So in the agent portal, we're going to go over to this resources tab, and we're going to click on the forms section, which is our company forms. This is what the window is going to look like. The one thing I love about alphabetical order is that our ACH commission direct deposit form is going to show up on the screen right when you come in without having to search or scroll or anything. So the ACH direct deposit form, if that's something you're interested in having that information or that those funds directly deposited, this is where you would find that direct deposit form. So you can come right out here, open it up, fill in the information, and get it sent on to accounting. The other document that is really valuable out here is the ACH Indemnity Direct Deposit Form for your insureds. If your insureds want to get their claim payments faster, they don't want to wait for something to come through the mail, they just want it to go right into their account, this is the direct deposit form that they need to fill in and be able to send back in as well. So those again are in the forms library. Another area that we're going to actually show you in just a minute, but I want to make sure you guys know where the enrollment form is if you come in here and in the search type in commission and hit apply, you'll be able to see here there is a guide to access electronic commissions and enrollment form. So if you're interested in being able to see your commission information out on the agent portal, this is the enrollment form that you would have to fill out and the user guide on how to access it. And I'm going to show you in just like literally 2 minutes. So again, that's available out here. The other item that I do want to touch on too is the waiver form, the loss credit waiver form. So if you come up to this search and you type in waiver and hit apply, you'll be able to see here that you have your loss credit waiver form and the one for livestock as well. So those are all available in the forms library. All right, next we're going to head on over to look at the financial information out on the agent portal that's available to you, including the electronic commissions. So these are very privilege based again. So if you do not see these options, it may mean that you don't have privileges to see that. And that's something we can talk to your marketing rep about if it should be something you can see. Otherwise, obviously, if you're in a master sub relationship, you'd want to start with your agency. So let's head into this EASYsuite option up at the top, and we're going to come down to financial information. So when you come in right away, the current year is going to default into the system for you. If you wanted to look at something from a past year, you can definitely type that in as well. The agency information, again, it's going to default in so you see all of your agency information to start off with. If you're in a master sub situation and you only want to see something specifically, this will actually be a drop-down box for you to be able to select the agency that you want to view. Document type on here is going to give you two options. It's either going to give you the debt termination notice if you want to filter down, or the agency monthly billing summary. So you can select either one of those, or if you choose nothing, it will show you both of those. Page size I just covered up on the screen, but it will always start to show you 10 items on the screen. If you want to make that to where you see 20 items on the screen at a time, it will allow you to do that. It just has a little bit more scrolling as you go down. So that's the page size. It'll disappear here in just a moment. Otherwise, here's all your agency information down at the bottom. So if you, again, are an independent agent, just one item is going to show down here. It'll already be opened up. Because I'm master sub, I just need to click on this little arrow here, this little tree view arrow to be able to show my information. There's the page size too, just so you can see that. So down at the bottom of the screen, just a couple things to notate is it's going to show you the date of the statement or the notice, the line of business that it pertains to, the document type, again, debt term, or the agency monthly billing summary, the agency code it's related to, and then over at the side, the documents that you have the ability to download and print. So first and foremost, if there is a new indicator over on the side, that means that you have not looked at this on the agent portal yet. And so that means it's basically not viewed yet. So you just have that indicator of which ones you've seen and not seen. Now, the debt termination notice, you can do in a PDF format or an Excel format. So you have your options over on the side here. The agency monthly billing summary is only available in the PDF form. So that's why there's not an Excel option over here. But you just click on whatever you would like to view and that will come up on the screen for you. All right. The next area that we're going to look at on the screen here is we're going to go back up to EASYsuite. There we go. And we're going to choose commissions this time. And again, this is only going to be available if you've done the electronic commission enrollment form that I just showed you where that was located. So in the commission section, same deal. You type in your year that you want to access, your agency information if you need to narrow down between master subs, your page size of how much you want to see on the screen. If you only have one agency, again, this is already going to be opened up for you. If you have multiple agencies, you'll just come over to the arrow on the side here to open up to be able to see that information. Here you're going to have your statement date info, your line of business, whether it be Mpci, hail, or named peril, the statement type, so your base commission information, the amount that was paid, and the payment type is located here as well. Now over on the side under documents, you have a drop down. When you do the drop down, this is what you're able to view. So you can either do a statement in Excel format, you can download raw data, etc. And then of course the information too in a PDF format. So this allows you of course just to see the information a little bit quicker than waiting for it in the mail. So that's an option available to you. All right, next, we're going to touch on one last item here. I'm going to go under resources and we're going to go to the report center. This is just, we're going to quickly show you how to pull up the statement of accounts out on the agent portal. So again, you'll select your year. It will be defaulted as the current year. Come down here. There's tons of reports out here, you guys. So, I mean, there's lots of things to look at, but if you scroll down, you can get to the Mpci statement of accounts, and that's what we want to look at real quick. So we're going to click on that. Not as many options out here now, but again, if you wanted to filter down, if you have master subs, you can choose a specific agency. Otherwise, there is the option here too to include sub-agencies. You just check that box. Here we don't have the same ability to display commissions, to be able to only show I can't remember all of the different options that were available in Easywriter Pro. We don't have as much of that capability out here, but we could still run the report. So once we've selected our criteria, we'll just hit generate. And voila, your Mpci statement of accounts shows up on the screen. Now, what's great out here is that you can move around columns as you want. You can sort in ascending or descending order. You can really manipulate the report to see it as you would like to see it. Now, if you do change the report and you want to save it as a custom report, that's the first option over here at the top of the screen here. This is going to allow you to save your customized report or just save the report, to view it, so you have it locked in at a later time. And that will then show in that reports drop-down box. Delete is obviously an option over here. Here's where you can export to PDF, you can export to Excel. And this last option over here is your column chooser. So perhaps this doesn't have all of the columns that you would like to see. You can click on the column chooser to see other items that are available to you. You can grab from that column chooser and move up to where you would like that to show in the report. So again, great way to be able to access those items without having to go into Easywriter Pro. All right, that is the majority of the items that I wanted to show in the agent portal. I'm just going to exit out of here at the top of the screen, and I believe, oh yeah, I'm sorry, and you would exit out up in this top tab up here, so you would remain in the agent portal. So we'll just click on that, and that covers a majority of the items that we have to offer to financially self-service your policyholders. So I just want to take a moment to thank you guys for your time today. Make sure if PRF is on your list of things to learn about, that you sign up for those connection calls in October. And we really appreciate your time. So thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great one.